Hi, this is Dan Fung from SpiffWorks. Today I'm going to be demonstrating a new feature for service calls, service tasks. Service task basically allows you to make a request to some external system, get those results back, and that becomes a part of the data that you have inside of a task, inside of a BPMN process. So if you wanted to go get a list of something from a server, or you wanted to send an email or post a message to Slack, all of those are examples of service calls. Currently, the way that works is a service call tends to expect to execute and it's done. It doesn't wait around for anything to come back aside from what immediately comes back from the call. So you make the call, you get the results back, and the process continues. One of the things that you often want to do with a service call, though, is wait around for a response or give it a callback URL and let it come back at a later date. Maybe the service call takes more than a few seconds. Maybe it takes 5 minutes or 5 days. The way you would traditionally handle that would be coming in here and adding a message receive and setting up like a new message name and like configuring that on both sides so that it could make that call back into the BPMN process. But because you've already established communication one way, this is really heavy, and it would be much nicer if the service call could just pass you a callback URL and you could call back into it. And so that's what I'm going to demonstrate today. In this initial example, what I'm doing is I'm using a third-party service called mock HTTP status IO. So you can use this too if you want to try it at home. All you need to do is make this call, and whatever it is you put on the end of it, that's what it responds with. So if I do a 200, like that's an HTTP status code that means everything was successful. If I save that and start it, what's going to happen is in process instance 16, when it executes, it's just going to execute. It's going to do it and get the results back. So we can come look, process instance 16, it's completed. It's not waiting for anything. But what if we do want it to not complete? It's very simple. All we do now with this new feature is come back in and all we need is like the calling service to return a 202 response, which means received and accepted but not complete. I'm not done processing things yet. And so when that third-party service, whatever it is that you most likely control, returns that 202, the process doesn't complete, or this task doesn't complete. It sits there and waits for that callback URL. And the way that we can see that here is with this URL, and I'm going to go change this to a 202 and save it and start it. And in this case, if we go look at process instance 17, we'll see that it's in a waiting state. And if we open it up, we'll see that that task is yellow. So how do we complete this? Well, if you were on the other end of this call, you would have gotten back a special variable. And that variable is spiff callback URL. Let's kind of stretch this out and paste this in. And so it looks like that. So that is a parameter that you would get, and you could immediately call that and the process would complete. So let's just demonstrate that. I've got it here, and I'm just going to have to let's see if I can copy and paste this thing in. So this looks kind of horrendous, but it's pretty simple. So this is just a standard curl command. I'm using a -x, so it's a put process. Here's the headers, application JSON. We need an API key so that it knows how to call it. I'm going to show you mine because this is all on my local server and I don't think it matters. And then we're going to make this call, and you don't need to know how to construct this URL because it would come to you as that spiff callback URL. But for me, I'm just going to fill this information in. I know that it's process instance 17, and the GUID here I can figure out by clicking on this and copying this guy and pasting it in and executing the command, and I always seem to miss a tick mark there. Oh, no. Really. All right, I can't tell you how many times I've recorded this video and made some stupid mistake. And so what I'm going to do is hop back here and close that tick mark. So that's got all the data. And then when it executes, we'll get a response back saying like the state is completed. So this task is done. We've reached the end. And if we come back over here and scrunch this up and reload this page, we'll see that this task has completed. And it's as simple as that. There we are, all done. And whatever task data we passed in, that key one value will come back to us. And you can control what variable this is and how that's activated for all service tasks. So that still all behaves the same. And yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for watching.